Knock on the door. Yes.
According to our Mayan calendar, the world will be destroyed at the end of the 13th Baktun.
Unless we appease the gods' anger with a human sacrifice.
Don't worry. We got a guy here we've really been fattening up.
Is it you?
Not me, that guy.
Or cricket fajitas?
Oh, my brave, brave glutton. I'll be so lonely when they sacrifice you to the gods.
What? No one said anything about a sacrifice. Although I did kind of space out during orientation.
All right, already. Let's get this done while our doomed civilization is still flourishing here.
Oh, any words of comfort?
Yeah, sure. Even though you know it's coming, when you see your own beating heart, try to act surprised, huh? It's some kid's first time.
Fear not, my beloved blood offering. I have a plan. Tell me, High Priest, are you interested in women?
What priest isn't?
Before we make love, would you mind putting a sack over your head?
Is there any other way? Nice and tight.
Now enter the room of pleasure,
Ooh.
and I shall join you shortly.
Now, I gotta warn you, I'm into rough stuff. Ooh, yeah, it's a good start, but, make it hurt. Ooh, that whooshing sound is really turning me up. Oh! Oh, yeah. Man, soccer's even boring for the ball. Quetzalcoatl, Quattle, we sacrificed the wrong person. Now the Earth will be destroyed after the 13th Baktun. Could you explain that in simple ancient Mayan? Of course, there's no need to shout and scream. Let's see, converting to base 10, assuming for the birth of Jesus, invent and then carry the leap years from 11, and the world will end in 2012.
Oh. And it will be Obama's fault. Hey, Marge, I'm setting my watch. What Baktun is it?
13th.
Oh. Oh, what have we here?
Oh!
What the hell?
Okay, what are these, where did this come from? Where did that come from?
Way scarier. So what happened, see, I don't know if this content's called, but this, this division sign?
Yeah.
Tables, it was very weird. It was lava and there were like people, giant people that had goat horns kind of.
Giant people with goat horns?
Yes. And then it was like, they were walking all over the place and there was like lava all over the place. It was creepy.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Giant people with goat horns.
Yes. They looked like regular humans, but they were much darker and much fierce, like strong, and they were like scary.
Okay, and you saw them walking on this
Yes.
Earth at the same time you saw this asteroid, and at the same time
I saw
you
all
saw.
this at the same time.
Oh, okay. Was this in color or?
Yes, it was in color.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
When do the real aliens, our real aliens, all the aliens you hear about are fake aliens, distractions, but who are the real aliens? Because there really are aliens. And aliens are not humans. And so we have to have a biblical cosmology and a biblical framework. If God has told us He's the creator, if He's told us we are the center of everything He's doing, and when He's done here, He's destroying the whole universe without saving any people on any other planets. That's not in the plan. So there aren't people on other planets that need saving. And we have aliens. Who are they? Well, when do the real aliens, who are Satan's demons, when do they invade the earth? And see, they've already invaded the earth once, and God had to put them in prison because during the flood of Noah, there were only 8 people that weren't demonized. 8. Everyone else was totally given over. What does it say in Genesis 6:5? And every imagination of all their hearts was only evil continually. That's really bad. Everyone had totally succumbed to Satan's demons. So when is this going to happen? Chapter 9. So where are we? We're still right here. We're still in these tribulation events when chapter 9 takes place. What is chapter 9? Lost humanity is fascinated with demons. In fact, the word demon comes from a Greek word, daimon, which spoke in the Greco-Roman world of those super powerful beings that we call the Greek mythology. You know, Mount Olympus, Zeus, Athena, you know, all this stuff. Those are daimons. Yeah, they are. Demons. Paul put it succinctly to the Corinthians. He said, behind every idol is a demon. Behind every Buddha statue, behind every idol of every, pagan culture in this world are demons. Okay? Humanity is fascinated with demons. So God opens the pit. And while the 144,000 are out there sharing the gospel, he lets humanity for 5 months get a taste of the searing torments. Remember what happens? These demons can sting you like a scorpion, only it doesn't kill you. It just is horrific, searing pain. Why does God do such a mean thing? Because God wants them to listen to the evangelist. There's only one escape. And he says, if you don't escape and come to Christ, this is what you're going to experience forever.
Hi, it's Saturday, the Sabbath, September 25th, 2021. And I wanted to post a dream that I had about the returning of giants on a day after 2 moons were seen in the sky in the dream. So this dream I had about 2010. It was 2010. So it's been 11 years. But I was encouraged to put this dream up because I saw another video yesterday where someone else had a dream of 2 moons and the return of giants. So I feel like God's wanting us to be warned about this event that's coming. And he also wants to encourage you, if you are one of God's warriors, we will be fighting these things. If you're not one of God's warriors, and I believe he's shown his warriors who they are by this point, so if you've not been shown that you're a warrior, then just be encouraged that God's ahead of this thing. He's getting an army ready to fight, and we will be trained and we will be ready to face off with these things when that time comes. So just don't be fearful. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And we know that we can trust him in all things. So let me share this dream with you. It was in 2010. And it's probably one of the most terrifying dreams I've ever had. And I don't scare easy, so that's saying something to me. But in this dream, my family and I are staying at the home of people that in real life I don't recognize who they are, but in the dream we seemed close to them. We're at their house, and where their house was located was on this little street with a string of houses around the base of a mountain. Behind the houses was this little creek that ran along the base of this mountain, and across the street was a field. Seemed like a rural setting. I recall in the time of the year seemed to be early fall, that in this field across the street there was a crop that was ready to be harvested, whether it was corn or whatever. I don't recall what the crop was, but it seemed like it was early fall. We had to wear jackets, so it was a little chilly, but it wasn't where the leaves were turning the pretty fall colors yet. So we were at this couple's house. Our children were inside watching a movie, and we were on the back deck of the house in this dream around a bonfire. And as we're there visiting, we look up and notice 2 moons in the sky. And we weren't immediately alarmed by this. We were just curious, like, are y'all seeing that? What is that? And it looked just like, I painted this picture here, and I've got the 2 moons up in the top right corner of the picture. So if you'll look at, they look just like that. They were 2 crescent moons. One was larger than the other, and they looked like the crescent after, like maybe 2 or 3 days after the new sliver of the moon. So let's say if, take October's moon phase calendar, I'm not setting a date or anything, but that's just next month. If you were to look on day 9 or 10, that was about the size of the moons that I saw in the sky in this dream. So we're looking at these moons and we're just really pondering what they are, and not alarmed. But I realized what time it was in the dream, so I thought I need to go in and tuck the kids in bed and turn their movie off. So when I go into the house, I go into the room where they're watching the movie and I go to turn the TV off. Well, I couldn't get it to turn off. So I thought, well, that's weird. Something's wrong with their TV. So I go over to the light switches to turn the light on so I could see what was wrong with the TV, and the light wouldn't turn on. And then I went to go into another room and I tried to turn that light switch on, and that wouldn't turn on. And I realized then something was wrong with the electricity. That if it was on, you couldn't turn it off, but if it was already off, you couldn't turn it on. Something was just messed up with the electricity. But it didn't bother me, so I just went and unplugged the TV and didn't make any more fuss about it and tucked the kids in. So then in the dream, the very next part, excuse me, was we were out back of the house again, as we were in the night before, but this time we had our coffee with us. And we're just visiting. It was a cool breeze morning. I remember it was a little chilly, and we're watching the kids playing in the stream as we drank our coffee. And then suddenly we heard this noise at the top of the mountain. And we looked up from where we were, could see the trees shaking. Now, these were giant oak trees in the dream, and they were moving back and forth like something was just shaking them from the trunk. And then we could hear what sounded like a giant footsteps coming down the mountain. Now this mountain was heavily forested, so we couldn't see what was causing what we were hearing, but we could feel the footsteps. And if you remember the movie The Transformers, where these giant metallic robots, when they walked, it sounded metallic almost, but you could feel it. They were that big. This is what it was like in the dream. So we're watching these trees moving, we're hearing the footsteps of these giants, but at no point did I ever see the giants in the dream. But I'm alarmed enough and I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, oh my gosh, these giants came on the second moon we saw last night. Guys, these giants came on the second moon we saw last night. They're here. And I'm trying to warn people. About that time, the neighbors next door, they throw everything they can grab into the trunk of the car and they squeal tires out. So they're seeing the same thing we are. Then a couple of houses down, we can hear screaming. And we can hear what sounds like bones crunching. And we know that one of the giants has made its way down the mountain and is eating those people. And we could hear it. It was horrible. I could still hear it in my head. So we grab our children from the stream that they're playing in and we rush them to the car. We don't even go in the house to get anything. We grab our kids, throw them in the car. As we're backing up from the house, around the corner from the house comes this man. He's got black hair, a black mustache, a white t-shirt, and his skin is ash gray. He has had his neck cut from ear to ear, and there's blood all over the front of his shirt. And we know this man should be dead from the injuries that he's received. But he's walking toward our car, and in his hand he's holding either a machete or an axe. And we are terrified by the look on this guy's face. His eyes are vacant, but he's like a zombie or something. He's walking toward our car, and we know that whatever caused his injuries, he should be dead from them, but now he's become a threat to us. So he's standing in front of our car, and we can't go anywhere. And he's swaying back and forth a little bit, and then he walks slowly around to my side of the car and leans into my window, and I scream and wake up. So that was my first dream about giants. And in that dream, they arrived the day after 2 moons were seen in the sky. And it was in the fall. I'm not setting any dates. I'm just telling you exactly what the dream depicted season-wise. And anyway, I thought that would be some kind of confirmation to some of the others that have had dreams of 2 moons and giants. God has been showing me that he's raising up an army to fight these things. And it's been really interesting to me. He's placed this warrior spirit within me that I discovered years ago, and I didn't know what was happening. with me, when that warrior spirit would rise up, I felt 20 feet tall. It was amazing. And I asked the Lord, what is happening? And it was just this gradual thing. And then after he kind of showed me this in private, there were instances where I would be asked to engage with something, and I'd feel that warrior spirit rise up. And I've had dreams where I'm fighting these giants. And in those dreams, I am 20 feet tall. So these are not giants to me. So whether I feel 20 feet tall or I literally am 20 feet tall, you know, I know that that these giants are returning. If you want to go back and look in my videos that I've made, there's one called "Does the 70 Generations End Now?" And I took some excerpts from the book of Enoch, where Enoch was told to bide these giants before the flood for 70 generations until the end of the world. And I've done the calculation, I've gone back in chronology, and it does appear that we are at that time where 70 generations is up. Now, God has told us that these giants will return as in the days of Noah. And what's interesting, I actually have a son named Noah, and he had a dream about fighting giants. And in this dream, this was really interesting. He was brought in into this arena with some other warriors, and they were allowed to choose their weapons. And of course, my son's this big Star Wars fan, so he got excited to choose this lightsaber. He was going to get to fight with this lightsaber. And he said that they brought the giants into this arena to be training with the giants. So they were paired up. Each warrior was paired up with a giant. And Noah was paired up with this giant. And as he's standing there, he has the thought that he wishes he could look the giant in the eyes and introduce himself. As soon as he had that thought, he was either as tall as the giant or he flew up to the giant's head and could look the giant in the eyes. And he said, "Hi, my name is Noah." And the giant replied with, "Hi, my name is," and Noah says he can't remember the name of the giant, but it started with E-N, or the letter N. And so I looked up the name of giants, and there's actually a giant that was considered leader of the giants. His name is Enki. So, you know, we don't know if that was the name of the giant. Noah can't recall. But he knows that he was being trained to fight these things. We will be fighting these things. God showed me a neat little confirmation once we were in Cracker Barrel, and I had just been praying about this. I had another dream where I was fighting giants in my dream, and I was really pondering this. And I just was sitting at this table in Cracker Barrel with my parents that met us, and I'm really wanting an answer. Am I going crazy, or are we going to be fighting giants? And while I'm praying this under my breath, I hear in my spirit, "Look up." And I kind of respond, you know, in my spirit, "Oh, no, we're looking up, Lord. We know your redemption draws near." And then I heard stronger in my spirit, "No, look up." So, you know how at Cracker Barrel they've got things hanging from the ceiling and all these pictures on the wall, and it's just kind of a big old flea market in there. Well, I looked up above the table where we were sitting, and lo and behold, there was a poster right above our table of Jack and the Beanstalk. And on the poster, it showed a giant, and under the giant, it said, "Giant Slayer." And I had the Holy Spirit all over me. That's just how, you know, God does funny things with me to confirm stuff. So that was one of those times. I just couldn't believe of all the tables to be seated at and all the times to be praying about that. But I want to read to you Joel 2, and then I'm going to wrap this up because the video is getting too long now. The Joel 2 describes God's army. And he actually says that God's army will run like mighty men. And if you look up mighty men in the Strongs, that means giants. We're going to be like the giants, running. We're going to be scaling walls. Before us is the Garden of Eden, and behind us is a flaming fire and destruction. It says that when we fall upon the sword, we will not be wounded. I have been told that when I fight these giants, I cannot be touched, harmed, or killed by them. Which, you know, we'll just have to see how things pan out. I trust God to protect us. I trust God in all things, and that confirmation there in Joel 2 says that we cannot be wounded by them. We will be his army during this time, and I am excited to walk in my destiny there. If God's shown you any dreams about this or shown you fighting giants, would you please put a comment below this video and share what he's been showing to you so that we can encourage each other in this last leg of the race as we near the finish line and we know we're getting to the end, we just need to be able to encourage one another to keep running and to be looking up. For surely our redemption draws near. I hope you guys are blessed. Thank you for listening to this. And just share below if you've had any similar dreams or confirmations. All right? Have a blessed day. Bye.